So, good evening, everybody, to our members and supervisor call this evening. I'm very, very excited because we have a very important subject which supports you basically with your customer service, with your customer follow-up. The key in our business is basically in the follow-up. The pennies are in a sale, but in the follow-up, there is the fortune. And not a long time ago, we launched actually the 6-day breakfast challenge, and she who runs it with us tonight, the webinar, she's actually a master of the 6-day challenge. She just took it by the horns when it was launched. She just loves it. She lives it. She's into it. So this is why I encourage you to take good notes tonight. If you have questions, there will be time for questions afterwards. But this is something which can be very essential for you, and especially when you want to work with a good time management, this is something very, very effective for you. So it's all about our 6-day healthy breakfast challenge. Sit down, take good notes now, and I hand over to our very successful international active world team, Lizel.
Awesome, thanks. Thanks, Bea. Can I just quickly ask, before everyone's mics are muted, is there anyone who's on the call who has never participated in a 6-day breakfast challenge, who doesn't know anything about it at all? Speak up now, just so that I know who my audience is. Okay, so I take it then at this point that everyone has either at least been a participant in a challenge. You may not have not run one yourself yet, but at least you've been a participant. Okay, so how I approach doing the training with you guys tonight is to not take you through the nitty-gritty steps within the 6-day breakfast challenge, because we've got a document that is made available to you once you've been a participant in a 6-day challenge and you want to run your own challenge, where you literally get the step-by-step. So I would just be reading back a document to you. What I wanted to focus on tonight was to give you a little bit more background around the 6-day breakfast challenge, things that you need to look out for, things that you need to focus on that isn't in the document. And also just at the end, looking at the overall flow, how this actually then fits into your business and what your goal is when you're working with the 6-day challenge, or what it actually should be. So let's move on to the next slide, please, Bea. Okay, so a 6-day challenge is a daily method of operation. The nice thing is that you get to run it on WhatsApp, so it makes follow-up pretty easy because people can respond as and when they have an opportunity to do so. You also use the trial pack as part of the 6-day breakfast challenge. So it's still exactly the same trial pack that we used for the 3-day challenge, except now they're just using it for 6 days and they're only using the shaken tea as a breakfast. The opportunity is there for you to find people who can then try out our amazing products. And this is, I think, where the trial pack has really made a massive difference, because years ago, before we had the trial pack, it was a lot of work you had to put in. You really had to build up a lot of trust already in that first wellness assessment to get someone to buy into the idea of using the products. And then they had to buy a program to actually try the products. So for brand new people getting started, having something like the trial pack and running it in a challenge, whether you do a 3-day trial or whether you do a 6-day breakfast challenge, doesn't matter. It's a great cost-effective way for people to try out the products before they commit to a full program. But the whole thinking behind running a challenge like this is that you get people to try the products, and through that process you get to educate them daily for an entire week on the importance of a healthy breakfast and a healthy lifestyle. You turn them into product-loving customers within those 6 days, and eventually you're able to convert them into members who then help others to achieve what they did. And in the background, while you're actually doing this, you're growing your customer base, which translates into retail profits. And at the same time, you get an opportunity to grow your member base as well, which in the long term results in your wholesale and your royalties. Next slide, please, Bea. So before getting started with a 6-day breakfast challenge, and before you run a challenge on your own, please do yourself the favor and take part as a participant in a challenge. Also, if you're wanting to start a 6-day breakfast challenge now and you haven't been part of one for quite some time, perhaps just join your upline or one of your members, join in on their challenge just so that you can run through it again as a participant and you can get a proper feel for it. What you need to get started, and some of these might be pretty obvious, but you obviously need a cell phone with WhatsApp capability to be able to run a 6-day breakfast challenge. you will need the 6-day breakfast challenge guide. And this guide that I referred to earlier on, it includes all of your scripts that you need for your voice note audios, as well as the images that you share each day. If you log into level10club.co.za, you will not find this guide and the images there. Simple reason is we want to make sure that someone takes part in a challenge first, learns how the process works, and then gets hold of the guide. So once you've been a participant in a challenge, BIA can make, or your upline, if they're working with the challenge, can make the documents available to you. Otherwise, it makes it a little bit more complicated or laborious for you to get through everything and understand the proper flow and see how things run. And then lastly, you really need to have a fun attitude. If you're only 20% excited, the people are only going to be 10% excited. So the more excited you are about what's happening on the group, the more enthusiastic you are about the posts that you make, the more you'll get people to engage. So first off, you need to find people to put into a challenge. So there's a couple of ways in which you can get people. The obvious ones are either the warm market or the cold market. When we're talking about warm market, it's people that you know, your circle of influence. And what's awesome is that in the challenge guide, there are scripts for inviting people, whether it's cold market or warm market, already in the guide. You literally just have to copy and paste when you send those messages to people that you know. Or if you're doing some form of advertising, online advertising, you might be handing out flyers, any other type of marketing that you did, wearing the badge, asking people to take part in the 6-day challenge, or using the products in public, and that's how you start a conversation, and that leads to people then starting on the 6-day challenge. You will use those scripts. So the guide is really awesome in guiding you in terms of what you have to say to the people. You don't have to figure it out all yourself. And then another way in which you can get people is obviously referrals. And this is one way that I really have a lot of fun with the 6-day challenges, where I get people so excited about the results that they're having. On average, I get about 1 to 2 people added onto a challenge for the next week already because of people that were in a current challenge. And if you're clever, you'll take the person that gave you this referral and say to them, hey, your best friend Rose just said that she's going to be joining the challenge. Why don't I add you in on the group again? Because you've been through this once already. You can also help me in case I get stuck, or perhaps you ask a question that you already know the answer to. And what I try to do through getting people to be in the challenge again for a second time with the person that they referred is that I want to see if they already display membership behavior. In other words, are they acting like a coach already? Is this someone that I could potentially bring into the business as well? And the more you get them to take part in the process, the more they might see the opportunity for themselves to actually run these challenges as well. And it's also fun because then they're doing it with their friend, and their friend also feels like they're getting their support. Important to note, with any of the advertising that you do, the guide clearly shows you which flyers are suitable for online advertising. Please don't take any of the other images that we use within the challenge and use those for online advertising. It really waters down the effect then of sharing those images later in the challenge on those specific days. So only use the approved ads. And then lastly, which is cut off there at the bottom, there's no price advertising that's permitted on any of your online ads. So you can advertise the challenge, but only once someone has inquired personally to you, you can confirm price and everything else. And those scripts are available on the Breakfast Challenge guide as well. So please, no price advertising online. Next slide, please, Bea. So a couple of questions that you guys might think of. Can you only work locally? No, you can run these challenges with anyone, anywhere, anytime. You can even run these challenges overseas in countries where the trial packs are available, like in the US and Europe. You might just have a bit of a challenge getting up at 2 in the morning to send messages if it's people that are in the US with the time difference. But anyway, you can still, run the challenges. I had a lady that sat next to me on the aeroplane last year, November, coming back from the extravaganza. And I've got all of the scripts and presentations on my phone with stories. And as she was chatting to me on the plane, I basically sat with my phone like this, and I took her through the breakfast presentation. I took her through results, and she wanted to get started on the challenge pack, which she then did when she got back to Joburg. And I basically added her to a group. We coached her that way. She referred someone else to me who's also now on the products. I haven't met this lady at all. I don't even know what she looks like, but she's a customer. So don't think that it's only limited to your area. If you know people in other areas, because it's done on WhatsApp, you can easily do this anywhere. Do you have to do a Tanita assessment for everyone? No. And some of you might be freaked out by the idea that you're actually not doing an assessment for someone. But if you really think about it, there's a lot of people out there who are just looking to fix their energy levels, who are just looking to feel better. They might, although they might need to lose weight, they might not see that for themselves right now. And the thought of hopping onto a scale or doing a strict 3-day challenge where they have to replace 2 meals and they have to be so strict with their snacks and everything else might scare a lot of people off. So by running a 6-day breakfast challenge, you're actually opening up the market a bit more for yourself, where you can sort of slowly start reeling the people in without them feeling intimidated or stressed out by the whole thought of having to be on a weight loss program as such. And later on, when they see how easy it is to do the program, they might decide to then follow a weight loss program where they're doing 2 shakes a day and you can personalize it for them a little bit more. So you appeal to a larger market by doing the 6-day breakfast challenge. And if we are getting someone just onto a healthier breakfast, there's no need really to do an assessment for them. It's nice to do. I always offer the assessment, but this is important if you think in terms of duplication as well. You might have a brand new member starting that doesn't have a scale. They can't do an assessment. Then they're going to rely on you as their upline to be available so they can do assessments for the people that get started on the 6-day breakfast challenge. That's fine when you've got one member that you're working with. But if you have 3 or 4 or 5 members that are running these challenges and none of them have a scale, you are going to have a challenge of your own because you're going to have to try and split yourself into 5 pieces to get around to everyone. So make sure that what you are doing is duplicatable. Keep it simple for the guys. And if they really insist that they want to do measuring of some sort, get them to put the people on a regular bathroom scale if they've got one and teach them how to use a tape measure and use the bathroom scale and the measurements to track results. That's a simple way to do it. Okay, so if the people aren't local, you can ship the trial pack to them using your Herbalife back office website. And if you're clever, offer an incentive for the first person that joins to get 3 other people at the same location. So if I have, like with this lady, Flora, that joined in Joburg, when she joined the challenge, she was the only one that I had from Joburg. And I actually said to her, why don't you get 2 or 3 people that you know from work or from home that might want to join you on a challenge? And she found another 2 people. The shipping cost is exactly the same, but just by asking, I had 2 other people that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So keep that in mind. Always ask for the referrals. If you don't ask, you don't get. Next slide, please, Via. Okay, so here are a couple of tips for running a successful challenge. The first thing that you want to focus on, you want to create lifelong clients. So take the time before doing your first challenge to get all the images that form part of the challenge saved into albums onto your phone. Don't leave it in your general photo library because they start getting lost among the other thousands of photos that you do take on your phone. So please make sure that you organize yourself properly before starting a challenge and you have everything available. As I mentioned earlier on, I have the breakfast presentation, the 5 slides that you see there at the bottom. I have those either on my phone. That's why I was able to do the presentation on an aeroplane. So start thinking out the box a little bit. So either carry the presentation around with you or have it readily available on your phone because you can do these presentations anywhere, anytime. Always do the healthy breakfast presentation with them. So that's, I think, the minimum that you really should do. So even if you're not doing an assessment for them, you need to take them through the healthy breakfast presentation so that you can get feedback from them on what it is that they're doing wrong, how they're feeling. And what I like doing is this cute little survey there on the left-hand side that Bia put together some time ago, where people can literally just tick the blocks and share what they're craving, how they're feeling, how their energy levels are. Do they struggle with any digestive issues, headaches? It takes them two seconds to complete it. It really doesn't take long for them to do that. And it's a nice way to keep track of what it is that you discussed with the person. Next slide, please, Bia. Okay, so on the day that the person does the assessment with you, again, this is your choice if you want to, but I always sample the shake and tea to them so they can taste what an awesome shake should taste like. And also remember on that day to set a date and time for the follow-up appointment. Don't let them leave without you having done that. It's important that you schedule that in already. When using this guide, please make sure that you use it exactly the way it's set out. Make sure that you post the audios and the images on the days and at the times indicated. There's a very specific reason for that. And when running your own challenge, try and record your own audios as far as this is possible for you with the means that you have available. Don't use someone else's recordings. Your people get to know you. If they met you for the assessment, they will actually be listening out for your voice. So as much as possible, try and use your own voice. It's a different story if there's two co-coaches working together and there's only one posting the audio. But if it's your challenge, take the time to record your own audios and save it on your phone. You only do it once, and then you can just keep on repeating it. And it's important that you engage. Most of these people, like the challenge I'm running this week, none of them know each other. Except two of them. Two of them work together. The other two don't know each other and the other two. So it's awkward for people sometimes to just share what it is that what their goals are or what it is that they're looking forward to in the challenge. So it's important that you start the process, you get the ball rolling. And don't ask them questions where they can just answer yes or no. Ask them questions where they have to give you a little bit more of an answer, where they can elaborate. And it's important because if you're not doing what you're asking them to do, then they're not likely to do it either. So I was the first one on my group this morning to already post my photo of me drinking my shake and saying what I'm having with my shake, and asking what have the rest of you done. I'm quite bored with my recipe in the mornings. Does anyone have anything interesting they did this morning? And that actually got the conversation going. And when I got them to start posting their photos and telling me what they put in their shake, then I got them to come up and say what it is, what their goals are. So I've got a bit of a shy group running this week. Sometimes you'll find groups that just go crazy and you can't shut them up. They actually drive you nuts. But you also get the groups like I've got this week where they tend to be a bit more shy and reserved, and you have to pull it out of them a little bit more. But if people aren't replying and engaging, you're getting no feedback from them at all, please contact them and find out what is wrong. My one lady today, she dropped her phone yesterday, so her screen is cracked, her phone's gone in for repairs, she's got no access to WhatsApp. She wasn't going to tell me that. She was just not going to do the challenge because she thought she can't do it if she doesn't have a phone. So what I've done with her, it's a bit more work for me, but I really want her to be engaged in the challenge. I'm running everything via email with her at this stage, which is a bit of work. But anyway, she's part of the challenge. She's sharing her stuff. I'm copying and pasting that into WhatsApp so the other people know what's happening as well. But remember that the ultimate goal is that you want to convert these people into product lovers by the end of the 6-day challenge. If they say the shake tasted only okay, or perhaps they say to you they didn't enjoy it, please ask them how they mixed it. If they mixed it in a proper way, move on to the next thing. Say to them or give them other suggestions and recipes, different ways in which they can enjoy the shake. The one lady on my group, Amanda, she said to me that the shake is okay, but she's not a big person for shakes. She doesn't really enjoy drinking stuff for breakfast. So I said, hey, that's no problem. Do you like yogurt? No, she loves yogurt. So I said, great. Take 4 tablespoons of low-fat Bulgarian yogurt, put it in a bowl, stir in your shake powder with it, and eat it like a yogurt bowl, and eat it like a mousse almost. She loved that. She ended up really enjoying her shake. So come up with clever ideas, and if you don't know, always ask on the Team Herbalife chats if anyone has any clever ideas of how people can enjoy their shake. You'll always find a way to make people happy. But the same principles with regular follow-up that you do applies here too. Ask them all the time how they feel. Do they notice a difference in their energy levels already? Are they sleeping better? Do they have less cravings? Aren't they hungry? Is the hunger better in between meals that they might have been struggling with before? So this is where the little questionnaire will help you, because if you're working with a lot of people, you might not remember everyone's issues. So you can always refer back to your little questionnaire and see and ask them about specific things that they highlighted. If they ask any questions on the group chat, be sure to answer those questions. And oftentimes I get that people send me a personal message asking me a question because they don't want to ask it on the group. I always answer them personally, and then I ask them to please ask the question on the group again, and then I'll copy and paste my answer, because it's likely that the other people have the same question, so we all learn from each other. And then the obvious things like troubleshooting, check in with them on things like constipation, diarrhea, headaches. If those are the issues they're struggling with, get them to have more water, and always troubleshoot the cow's milk if they're using any cow's milk. Next slide, please, Mia. So this entire week that you're working with these people is about building a relationship with the participant and earning their trust. It's also an opportunity for you to use the challenge as a filter and separate the serious from the not so serious ones. So if you think about our 15-10-5-1 that we work with, out of the 15 assessments that you do, or 15 people that you talk to and do the healthy breakfast presentation for, on average, only 10 of those people are going to start in the challenge pack. And out of those 10, when it comes to upgrade time, on average, only 5 are going to upgrade. So the trial pack is a great way for you to filter who are the people that you really want to walk a journey with, who do you want to coach, who is coachable. Where previously we didn't have that luxury. If someone bought shake, tea and aloe for a month, you had to work with them for a month, although they weren't always listening and doing what they were supposed to do. So the challenge pack makes it easy. And I have actually done this with people where I've said, listen, you didn't participate in the challenge at all this week. You ate whatever you wanted to eat. I think you're perhaps not ready. So why don't you, when you're ready, come back to me and we do a challenge again, and then we can take it further. So don't be shy to do that. And don't be the kind of coach that just wants to sell people products so you'll take people on regardless. Because if those people don't use Herbalife properly and they walk around and give Herbalife a bad name, it doesn't just hurt your business, it hurts everyone else's business if people are walking around doing that. We know the products are great, but it only works as good as the person using the products and the coach coaching the clients. So with that little funnel that you see there, this is the process that we go through. So we have a lot of people coming in at the top with our assessments that we do, but only so many will take a trial, only so many will upgrade, and only so many will actually become a member at the end of the day. The challenge is also set up in such a way that the idea is promoted all the time to participants to invite people for the next challenge starting the following week. And you'll see it repeats a lot, and it repeats a lot because people need a lot of repetition before they respond. And encourage them to share those images with their WhatsApp contacts, get them to post it on their social media sites, and ask them to share what their experience has been. And people who obviously stand out, like the ones who are participating actively, and they even might be giving tips and ideas and sharing recipes on the group with other people, those are the kind of people that you definitely want to talk to first and get them to do that for you. Next slide, please, Bia. Okay, so I also like creating interest right from the start whenever people allow me to do so. So please don't ever post pictures and things of people and tag them in it if you haven't gotten their permission. Make sure that you ask up front. But this was a pic that I took on Saturday. I saw 2 ladies that gave me a button hit on Friday. I saw them Saturday morning. And this is how simple you can really keep your business. We did an assessment in the parking lot outside the shop where they work. I got them to stand on the scale. I took my cooler bag. I now drive around in my car with a cooler bag, with ice bricks, with a liter of lactose-free milk, and my little blender. I couldn't plug it in there, but I've got a shaker in my cooler bag as well. So I quickly made them a shake there in the parking lot. I had cups with me, so I poured them each a shake. They sampled the shake right then and there, and they took their challenge packs, and they're part of my challenge now for this week. But I took that picture not just because I wanted to have a picture of the 2 of them. I actually wanted to use it on social media. So I used it on Instagram and I used it on Facebook. And the one lady allowed me to tag her in the photo, which I did. So I haven't had a response to it yet, but you never know. I have had people join a challenge already and become customers because of a client posting a picture of her drinking her shake on Instagram. So that kind of thing does happen. Then the important thing is once it comes to the end of the challenge and you've set up that appointment to see them for the follow-up, that's when the upgrade process takes place. And it's at this stage also when you get to gauge whether this is someone you'll want to take further or not. Ask them what they experienced, get their feedback, what did they enjoy about the challenge, and then show them the slide showing the upgrade options and let them decide what they want to go for. Whether you know specific things about the person, like they earn a very small income, or they have a lot of debt and you're not sure whether they'll even take a shake, don't talk them in and out of a sale. Show them what's available and let them decide what works for them. If they feel that they can't do a shake and tea and they just want to start on a shake, they'll actually tell you that. It's something hard to learn in the beginning, but show them and shut up. And then after the upgrade, you don't want to do all this work and really coach them wonderfully and be engaged and sharing information and educating them for 6 days. And then once they've done the upgrade, say, shoo, thank you very much. You've got your products now, so who's next? And then forget about them. It's important that you keep contact with them, that you keep them engaged. So there's a couple of ways in which you can do that. You can slot them into a 21-day challenge, which is run on a very similar basis as the 6-day challenge, also with its own script and images. Some coaches have said that they find people don't really interact as much. I actually like doing the 21-day challenge. I also find that people don't engage as much, but every time I've spoken to them and follow up, they at least are listening to the audios and they take note of the image that is shared. So at least the information is getting to them. Other than that, at the very least, you should have some form of a customer group running on WhatsApp that you can add them to. So what I do is after my guys finish on the 21-day challenge, I move them over to a customer group. And on my customer group, I post perhaps twice, at most 3 times a week. And it varies. I take a lot of the information that I get on discovergoodnutrition.com, which is a Herbalife run website, where you've got Susan Bowerman nutrition tips, Samantha Clayton giving fitness tips, and I forgot her name now, Laura, the Herbalife skin lady, giving information about skin. And I share interesting things that they might share in some of their articles with the idea of adding in the product that relates to the information that they're sharing. So doing this, I expand my clients' knowledge, or I introduce them at least to some of the other products that Herbalife has available, and often that also results in inquiries. But they're getting information first, so the education happens. It's not just me posting a product and saying, oh, you should use the multivitamin because it's great. I'll always tie it into information that I got from a credible source, and there's no better source for me than the people who work directly with Herbalife. Okay. And having these types of communication platforms is really important, especially when people aren't close to you and you don't get to see them every week for a follow-up appointment. This is one way in which you can keep them close to the fire. Next slide, please, Via. Okay, so creating customers is the one part, but if you are just in the Herbalife business for earning a bit of extra money and earning retail, and having the occasional member sign up until this point is where you'll probably find the most value out of the training. But for those of you who are on the call who are looking to really build a decent royalty income and getting to active world team and beyond, even onto the tab team levels, creating members is what you really want to focus on. Because without members, you're not going to get the royalty growth, and without the royalty growth, you're definitely not going to hit those higher levels. So all of this eventually leads up to actually creating a member. And during the course of the challenge, you'll always have 1 or 2 people who just stand out. They're the ones who absolutely love the products. They're already coming up with their own shake creation ideas and sharing it every day and sharing different recipes and helping others by answering questions before you even get a chance to do it. Look out for that. That's people displaying membership behavior. Invite these people already early on to a presentation, because you already see there's no doubt these people are going to upgrade. There's no way that they're not going to carry on with the products. However, the other guys who aren't as involved, don't disregard them and think that they wouldn't be interested. When you sit down with them for the upgrade and they decide to carry on with the products, latest at this point, you should invite them either to an HOM, a BBS, or a customer day, the online quick start on a Sunday evening if you're in an area where you don't have local meetings happening. Never, ever, ever prejudge people. You never know what will happen. An example of an invite that I've given you guys there, this is not my own words, this is what BA uses, but it works really well. You can say to them, because of the great results you've had, I'd love to invite you to learn about how you can become a Herbalife ambassador, loving the products and your results, and having a benefit of between 25% and 50% when purchasing your Herbalife goodies. Would you like to come? And always invite them just to the next available meeting. Don't say to them, oh, we've got this meeting and that meeting and that meeting and that meeting, because then they'll think, oh, these things happen all the time. I don't have to rush to get to a meeting. So do the invitations and let the meeting do the work for you. You don't have to try and sell the business to them. If they're sitting in that meeting or doing the online quick start, they'll get the information and they can decide for themselves what it is that they see for themselves. And if they decide to stay on as a full retail customer, that's great. If they decide they just want to be an ambassador and make use of the benefit of having a bit of discount, that's also fine. When Lawrence Swanepoel did training with us, he said that you've got to love everybody in your business, even the ones, although you might be focusing on the guys who are going to bring you in all the royalties, don't disregard the guys who are the volume contributors who just love the products and use it every single day and add to your volume anyway. You need to love everyone. Okay, so using the challenge as a method to find customers and your members, through this process, you're already teaching your future member how to be a great coach. And this is another reason why I love the 6-day challenge. This is someone who's already been through the process. They know how the follow-up works, and it's much easier to get these people on board to start working with their own customers. They learn quicker. So when they're ready to start their own challenge, they'll already know what to do and what to expect because of being a participant themselves. And even better, if you have a person who signs up within this first week already after doing their upgrade, and they've already invited people for the next challenge, they already have their first people for their first challenge. You can add them in as a co-coach where they work with you as a coach and not just as a participant anymore. And by the end of the week, they could already have their first customers. So your turnaround time from people starting on a challenge pack into becoming a member, into having their own first customers can be much quicker if you keep this flow in the back of your head in terms of what it is that you want to achieve. Next slide, please, Bea. Okay, if they're not ready to sign up just yet, but they keep sending you referrals, that's awesome. What you're doing is actually building a cluster of customers under them. And when they do sign up, they already have an established customer base. When they're ready to be taught how to be a coach, you can already then, once they're ready, start gradually handing over these customers back to them. So if you look at my little image there at the bottom, you've got your happy customer. That's awesome. If they're giving you referrals, that's great. But when they're ready, get them to sign up as a Herbalife member and they'll have their first customers. And latest at the point in time when one of their referrals that they've sent you is ready to sign up as a member, you need to sit down with them and have the conversation with them again about what they will be missing. If at that point they still say they don't want to sign up, that's going to be their loss. But please don't sign one of their referrals up without sitting down with them again and talking to them and saying to them, listen, this person is now serious. They want to do the business. I just want to show you again what you're going to be missing out on if you don't also sign up as a member. And if after that they don't want to, that's great. You've done what you needed to do. Next slide, please, Bea. Okay, so in summary, this is what we're working towards. We're working towards being able to do our 15-10-5-1. There's lots of ways in which you can make that happen. 6-day breakfast challenge is just one of those. Getting those 15 evaluations and samples done, 10 trial packs, 5 to 7 happy customers, and finding that at least one new member out of that. Why do you want to do that? Next slide, please, Bea. Because this is what we want to build. We want to make sure that you're a successful coach where you're doing your minimum 500 personally purchased volume points with your customers and your own product use and repeating that month 1, month 2, month 3. And by latest month 3, you should have at least 2 new coaches in your team who are doing exactly the same. That is your 90-day goal. That's what we focus on, the 500 times 3 plus 2. And when you do that, that results in, next slide, please, Bea. Long-term happy customers that will lead to retail income, happy members that lead to wholesale income, profitable supervisors that lead to sustainable business, and in the end gives you forever royalties. That's it. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Lizel. I think we open up quickly if there are any questions.
No questions.
Everybody seems happy so far. I think that was a lot to digest, and I'm actually glad that I recorded the call because it gives you an opportunity, you find it on level 10 again, to re-listen to it. There's so many practical tips in it, Lizel. Thank you so much for preparing such an awesome presentation and guiding us through. Maybe as a confirmation, I just had today a guy in the US upgrading. I never could measure him, so Lizel was correct. You can do it overseas without measuring, without anything, and we are just communicating on WhatsApp. So even with the time difference, I get it somehow right. And he was referred to me, so I don't know him at all. So it was just a referral of a referral, actually. And then I made a little test because I had today also a lady upgrading. And when she came to me, I did the breakfast presentation, but I didn't put her on the scale. I just measured her. And interestingly enough, she lost 16 centimeters. She's highly excited about her energy, and she upgraded to Shake TLO without knowing about our magic scale. And that makes me actually excited because it shows us you can do business anytime, anywhere. So don't make yourself addicted to the scale. It's really not necessary. It's more actually your love and your passion helping the people and building that relationship Lizel was talking about. Not a relationship to the scale, build a relationship to you as a person. Excellent, Lizel. Thank you so much. Absolutely brilliant. Lots of practical tips. I will really look it for myself again too. There's always something to learn. And for the focus group people, we see each other in 2 minutes again on this call. Have an awesome evening, everybody. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lizel, Olivia.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.